Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's, what is it, Tuesday, I think. Um, and Socks is here, sitting in my lap, and I'm wearing my t-shirt, a new t-shirt, which is about aliens, and it's based on some graffiti round the corner from us in a tunnel in Levenshulme that I really liked, so I had it made into a t-shirt. Right, today, oh, here's Socks saying hello. Nope, he's not bothered. And Panda's there as well. Today I got something fantastic in the post and I just want to show off. It's the 40th anniversary collection of Scream comic, which means something very particular to people of exactly my age. 40 years ago, Scream came out for the first time. And Rebellion Comics have been doing these amazing volumes of all kinds of things from that kind of era. Girls comics like Ginty and Misty, and it's been doing 2000 AD stuff. And then I've got the Leopard of Lime Street collection, but Scream has a very special place in my heart. It was a horror comic that came out for the first time in March '84, and it ran for 15 issues, which people like me collected up religiously during that time. And it stopped. And the understanding was, I think it's more complicated than this, but the understanding was it was just so horrific and so frightening and so gory and nasty that it had to be pulled. I don't think that was completely true, but it's a great legend. Everything about this reprint volume is done so nicely. It's so lavish. I got it at a good price, I think. All these things are relative, aren't they? But it was a proper treat to myself. And I think it was the last one available on the website as well, because now it says currently unavailable. So I'm pleased to have jumped in. Usually I'm too late for these things. I dither and talk myself out of it. Although looking at my shelves, you'd never think that. As I said before, I'm not a obsessive collector of stuff. I buy things that I really want myself or want to give other people. I don't make a habit of being obsessively completist, because that way you spend everything on filling your house. My house is pretty full, but it's selective. And there's the first issue, look. It has the covers and the pin-ups and everything, and every page of every one of the 15 issues. And as you can see, it was dark, it was crosshatchy and macabre and scary. All of these pages are incredibly familiar. Monster and Dracula. Monster was the one about the grave digger. And the 13th Floor, which was a kind of anthology series of stories. Tales from the Grave, Fiends and Neighbours, which was a comic strip. Library of Death, Terror of the Cats. Socks, what do you think of that? See, that's very, very familiar. In the 80s, I read lots and lots of Marvel comics still, of course, in the British reprints, in the original American things. DC Comics we would get from a newsagent, a supermarket actually, that was next to a dead rough pub called the Dandy Cart in Aycliffe. And often the DC Comics were very battered and water spoiled. They'd been dried out. And I did hear that they used comics as packing for other stuff on ships. I don't know if that's in the past or if that was then, but we'd get these water damaged comics sold at full price, and you'd never get subsequent issues of things. Early 80s was also the time of me being obsessive about DC's Star Trek comic as well. And at the same time, I read all of the, the Beano and all the kind of classic comics, the IPC Fleetwear comics, Cheeky and Whoopi and Whizzer and Chips, all of those. Maybe not every week, but you dip into all these things. There were many, many comics available for kids. And if you see pictures of newsagents from back then, it's mind-boggling how many comics there were. We just remembered Billy Connolly's routine about newsagents back then, where he talked about, you go in and it's disgusting because there's the kids' comics and there's the dirty magazines, and he'd say it's the Beano, the Bunty, and the Bare-Arsed Monthly in the newsagent. But you'd have masses of titles to buy, and these days it's nothing like it, as everybody knows. The amount of talent on show in comics like Scream. Oh, there's issue 2. I'm really holding this carefully. The density of work. I don't know how many pages were in each issue, but it looks just as crammed as I remember, with strips. The strips are kind of 4 pages long, and you get maybe 10 or less, maybe about 10. And it's all original stuff to these issues. Every page absolutely crammed with work. And so it was something that would last you the week, or a kind of very involved weekend of reading stuff. It just makes me think we were extremely lucky to have this stuff going on and to be available for, I think 22p. Just looking for the front of an issue to see. Scream issue 4, every Monday, 22p. And just looking at the reprints, you can feel that kind of paper, with the slightly serrated edges, rough cut pages. Of course, I don't have my original issues. I wish I had. They are kind of incredibly expensive to go and find and buy now, because they're sought after. I don't know if they'll come down because of reprints like this. I don't know if that happens or not. Anyway, I could go on about this forever. Every cover is familiar. I must really have pored over them. And you commit them to memory, don't you? I think things you read and look at obsessively at a certain age kind of burns into your memory forever. And when you see them again, this is why people collect stuff back up, isn't it? When you see them again, it transports you back, and there's something very transporting about this. The only thing it's missing, the only thing I can't find in here are the summer specials, and I think there were 2 or 3 of those. Once the comic had finished, they did summer specials, presumably to use up the strips that hadn't been printed yet, and they were very sought after and still are, and they're not included in this as far as I can tell. I think it's just the 15th issue. Just, I say. Oh, it's got sketches and things at the back. That's nice. I think they had wraparound covers on some of them as well. See, the art was very elaborate. I think, on the whole, they went the extra mile, as they say. It was overly generous. And you look back now and you think, things just aren't the same. I sound like such an old fart. But it's such a shame. It's such a shame. And maybe it's best. Maybe if it went on and on, like Eagle did or 2000 AD, we wouldn't remember it as fondly. The fact it was circumscribed and it was just there for 15 issues and a couple of summer specials, maybe that makes it all the more special in our memories now. Maybe that's true. Certainly that's how I'm going to think about it. And the idea that I've got the whole thing in one piece is marvelous. It's like having, oh, this is why I pull something off the shelf and bring everything down. It's like having this, my volume of the first year or 2 years, I think the first year of DC's Star Trek from '84, which is still like having a bit of magic. I can't believe I own this in one volume. Yeah, I could go on about that. I should do some Star Trek videos. At some point, I might lose half my audience going on about the specifically geeky stuff that I love. The other thing that isn't collected up anywhere and nobody remembers is a DC series called Mazing Man, apostrophe Mazing Man, which was about the same time, which was set in New York, and it was a kind of soap opera, really, more than anything else, with a little shambolic fella who thought he was a superhero. And he was called Mazing Man with an apostrophe because he found a helmet with an M on the front and couldn't think of an adjective with M, beginning with M, that he liked. Anyway, that was my other favourite comic of the time. Again, one that only lasted about a year and then was gone forever. I have a habit of enjoying things that are either so niche and marginal they don't last, or so controversial they don't last. And those are the things that I have liked most of all. That's just me. Anyway, I'm going to look into the Misty collections as well and see if they're things that I might have to spend some time reading. But for now, I'm looking forward to rereading Scream. Look at these dead bodies watching the telly. Everything about it is so funny and so sick, actually. It's sick, and I guess that's why they had to stop it. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will see you again in the next video. Please like, subscribe, and all that stuff. And tell me in the comments which comics you loved when you were at that particular age of whatever, 12, 13, 14. The point at which everything you read was just like hoovering up culture, because that's how I felt. Like you press record inside your head for a certain amount of time. And it all gets committed to the hard drive of who you are. Okay, goodbye, and I'll see you again soon.